The Bible shows us that angels don't always show up the way movies trained us to expect. Big wings, blinding light, dramatic entrances. Sometimes they're already there. Already in your space. Already in your house. Quietly watching, guarding, moving, and waiting not for you to be impressed, but for you to recognize what's been happening all along. Sign number 1. A strong sense of protection you can't explain. You've lived moments where danger should have reached you, but it didn't. Times when everything about the situation screamed, this is going to go wrong. Yet somehow it didn't. Close calls. Near misses. Accidents that almost happened. Wrong turns that ended up saving you. That feeling of, I don't know how I got through that. The Bible doesn't treat that kind of protection like a coincidence. Psalm 91 verse 11 says, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." And notice something important. When angels are present, protection usually isn't loud. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's not always a vision you see. It's an outcome you live. You don't always see them in the moment. You notice the results afterward. Doors close before harm can walk in. Something just happens that delays you, reroutes you, interrupts you, yet later you realize that interruption was mercy. Accidents miss you by inches. Your home feels covered even when everything outside is chaotic. That unseen protection, that unexplainable covering, is often the first sign angels are active in a house. Sign number 2. Sudden peace that makes no sense. Everything around you can be loud, stressful, uncertain, heavy. You can be carrying anxiety in your chest all day, replaying conversations, worrying about money, family, pressure, the future. But then you step into your house and something shifts. Not because your problems magically disappeared, but because your mind calms. Your breathing slows. The weight you walked in with suddenly feels lighter. That kind of peace isn't just emotional. It's spiritual. Hebrews 1 verse 14 says, "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" Catch that. They don't only guard. They minister. They serve. They bring help. And part of that ministry is peace where anxiety should be living. Angelic presence has a way of quieting spiritual tension you can't quite explain. It's why some homes feel different the moment you walk in. It's not the furniture. It's not the paint. It's not the scent in the air. It's the presence. When angels are active, peace can settle in a room like a blanket, soft, steady, and unshakable. Sign number 3. Repeated spiritual sensitivity in your home. You start noticing it more often. Not once. Not twice. Repeatedly. You feel drawn to pray, but especially when you're at home. Worship feels deeper in certain rooms. Scripture hits harder when you read it there, like the words are alive in a way they weren't elsewhere. You might be sitting on the couch, or at the table, or lying in bed, and suddenly you feel conviction, comfort, clarity, tears, something opens up in your spirit. That's not just routine. That's activation. In the Bible, angels often appeared in places that were spiritually aligned. Not random places, not chaotic places, but spaces where heaven had access. Genesis 28 verses 16 to 17 says, "Jacob woke up and declared, 'Surely the Lord is in this place. This is none other than the house of God, the gate of heaven.'" When angels are present, your spirit becomes more alert. Distractions lose power. You don't have to force yourself into focus the way you used to. Your home starts to feel like a spiritual environment, not just a living space. It becomes a place where your heart can hear again. Sign number 4. Your home becomes a place of divine separation. And this one is bigger than people realize. Without you trying, certain people stop coming around. Some conversations feel unwelcome in your space. Certain types of talk can't stay comfortable in your home anymore. Not everyone feels relaxed sitting in your living room. Some people don't stay long. Others avoid coming altogether. And the wild part is, you didn't even push them away. You didn't make an announcement. You didn't set up rules on the door. It just happened. That's not isolation. That's separation. Throughout Scripture, angels were often involved when God was setting boundaries, guarding, blocking, redirecting access, deciding what could come closer and what couldn't. Exodus 23 verse 20 says, "See, I am sending an angel ahead of you to guard you along the way and bring you to the place I have prepared. When angels are present, your home stops being open to everything. It becomes protected territory, a space where not everyone can sit comfortably, because not everyone can sit where God is working. When heaven marks a place, certain things, certain spirits, certain influences don't feel welcome. Sign number 5, you sense activity. Even when the house is silent, when the TV is off, the rooms are still, the lights are low, it doesn't feel empty. You may notice a sudden awareness, like someone is present. A shift in the atmosphere late at night. A stillness that feels alive, not lonely. And let's be clear, this isn't fear, it's awareness. In the Bible, angelic presence was often felt before it was seen. In 2 Kings 6 verse 17, Elisha prayed, "Open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see." And suddenly the servant saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire. But they weren't newly arriving. They were there the entire time. Unseen but active. That's what it can feel like when angels are in your house. The silence doesn't feel hollow. It feels guarded. It feels like something is standing watch. Like you're not alone in the way you used to think you were alone. Sign number 6. Prayers get answered faster inside your home. You start to notice a pattern. Something changes when you pray at home. Clarity comes quicker. Peace settles faster. Sometimes you don't even get a full sentence out before you feel your heart stabilize. And the answer doesn't always come as words. It comes as certainty, as direction, as a knowing that drops into you. That's because angels don't replace God. They carry out his instructions. They move on assignment. Daniel 10 verse 12 says, "From the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them." Angels are often dispatched in response to prayer. So when your home becomes a place where prayers rise consistently, real prayers, honest prayers, persistent prayers, it can also become a place where heaven responds consistently. And when heaven responds in a place often enough, that place starts to feel different. It starts to feel marked. It starts to feel watched over. It starts to feel like your house is more than a house. That's why some prayers feel heavier, stronger, more effective the moment you pray inside your house. Like the room itself agrees with you. Like your words aren't just floating into the air, they're landing. Sign number 7. You feel watched over, not watched. And there's a difference you can actually sense in your spirit. One makes you uneasy. The other makes you breathe. You don't feel tense. You don't feel exposed. You don't feel like something is creeping around the corners of your mind. You feel settled, even in silence. Even when nothing is playing. Even when the house is still. And notice this. It's not the kind of calm that comes from locks, alarms, or routines. It's deeper than that. It comes from knowing, without proof, without a visible reason, that something is standing between you and harm. Like there's a boundary you didn't build, but you can feel it. That's how angelic protection works. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't bang on the door and say, "Hey, I'm here." It simply prevents what was never meant to reach you. It blocks what would have happened, and most of the time, you only recognize it after the fact when you realize what didn't touch you. Psalm 34 verse 7 says, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." To encamp means to remain, to stay stationed, not to visit and leave, not to stop by for a moment and disappear. It means there's a guarding presence that lingers. And when angels are present, fear loses its grip. Your home stops feeling vulnerable. It becomes a place where your spirit can finally rest. So if this message stirred something in you, don't brush it off. Don't ignore that quiet confirmation. Pay attention to what's been happening in your home lately. The peace, the protection, the subtle shifts you couldn't explain before. Because heaven doesn't surround a place by accident. If you believe God is watching over your house, type "covered" in the comments. And if you want to recognize these signs before most people do, subscribe because you don't want to miss what comes next. Some warnings come before danger. Some signs come before purpose is revealed.